That's great news. So all the features that you mentioned are already developed using Cairo 1.0, or it's like the previous version of Cairo?
It's written in the old version. We've started with the 1.0 rewrite. Yeah, so we've converted a few of our contracts, the smaller ones, to 1.0 just as a POC. But last I checked was a week ago. You couldn't deploy it yet. So we're still waiting for that to actually kick off to the point that we can actually deploy our contracts and test them. And the StarkSwap contracts themselves, we started converting, but it's a huge change. Like, there's a lot of work to convert things, and it's not quite ready yet. So a lot of things that we would want from 1.0 don't yet work as they are, I think, intended. So that's still gonna take a while. And just to sort of reiterate what was said, if you want to deploy to mainnet with a pre-1.0 version, you have to make your contracts upgradable. And we strongly believe that we don't want our pairs, which is essentially where all the liquidity of our users is held, to be upgradable. That should be an immutable thing. And we don't want the code that is behind that liquidity to change in the future, which is the biggest reason why we chose not to go for a pre-1.0 deployment and upgradable contracts.
I gotta say, from a security standpoint, that makes total sense. Just ask Johnny how many times he found stuff on Code Arena that was specifically about upgradable features. I think even in there were at least one or two hacks that I remember in the Open Zeppelin contracts with upgradability. Upgradability is not an easy business. Just ask Johnny. He knows all about it.
An easy business. Also, it's a matter of trust, because you know, when you have like some private keys that control these upgradable contracts, what happens if one of the keys getting hacked, or one of the I'm not saying that this is your case, guys, but one of it's trust for the users. They don't want the founders to go drain the contracts and go to the Bahamas, right? So this, or even exactly, like, you know, it's a machine. Completely. Eventually, when you like make upgradable contracts, you are downgrading the decentralization and trust to Web 2 security, because if the machine that holds the private key gets hacked, of course there are multi-sigs and solutions, but still you downgrade your security and trust to Web 2. And we really appreciate the fact that you don't want the per smart contract to be like upgradable, because it would be horrible, because this is the contract that holds all the liquidity and all the assets, and it's a huge like concern.
Exactly. That's how we see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what's the point of writing these? Like, what's the point of writing these new fancy contracts on this new fancy network that's super secure if you then go and introduce upgradability? It's like, come on, let's just do it properly the first time.